Going beyond the headlines. Asking the questions you want answered. Exploring government policies and how they impact you. We are delving deeper.
Good evening and welcome to Delving Deeper. I am your host, Ayana Carter. This evening, we will be focusing on the 7th edition of the Commonwealth Youth Games, which starts on Friday and will be hosted right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us on set are President of the Trinidad and Tobago Commonwealth Games Association, Diane Henderson, and Miss Annie Hairsine, Commonwealth Games Federation Lead for Commonwealth Youth Games. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ayana.
Now, Trinbago Commonwealth Youth Games 2023, it is happening on Friday, and the opening ceremony takes place at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Miss Henderson, are we ready to host these games?
Of course we are. We have to be. We are here to welcome 70 countries to Trinidad and Tobago from all over the Commonwealth. From 5 regions, I believe, Oceania and Americas, Europe, So we're excited about really putting on a show for, the world. Just as we've done previously, we know we can do it.
What can we look forward to between August 4th and August 11th?
The opening ceremony is on Friday the 4th. And from the 5th to the 10th, we have events in seven different sports or disciplines. That is the aquatics, cycling, athletics, para-athletics, beach volleyball, netball, rugby, and triathlon. So we have 4 sports in Tobago and 3 in Trinidad. Sports in Trinidad are athletics at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, aquatics at the Aquatic Center in Couva. Then we have the cycling velodrome, and we also have road cycling, which will be taking place at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy on 2 days. In Tobago, we have triathlon at Buku, beach volleyball at Black Rock, rugby and netball at the Shore Park Multi-Purpose Center and the field.
Now, Ms. Hairsine, what sets Trinidad and Tobago apart from previous hosts, and how can those attributes enhance this year's experience?
Well, I mean, this is the first time that we've taken the youth games to the Caribbean. So this is the first time we're in the Caribbean, the first time obviously in Trinidad and Tobago, but it's also the first time that we are delivering across 2 islands. And that is really exciting. So there's a lot of opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago to make their mark. But I'm really looking forward to people coming and enjoying the culture. I've been lucky enough to be here for nearly 3 months. And I really want to share that with the whole Commonwealth family that will be here in just a few days.
Yeah. Now, you said this is the first time that we're hosting games on 2 islands. What has been the challenges of that particular situation?
The challenges of 2 islands. I think we have to recognize that it makes everything more complicated. We will have teams arriving not only into the Piarco airport, but also arriving into Tobago. And then we have some teams that need the inter-island transfer as well. So it's a huge matrix of complicated transport arrangements and making sure that we can support all of those, the 8 venues that are being used. But also we've got the athletes in 5 different hotels. In our village hotels, as we refer to them. So we're looking at that makeup across all those different hotels, all the venues, which, as you can imagine, for the team, is quite a little complex operation every day. But I'm really grateful to the teams both in Trinidad and in Tobago that are helping us make that happen. And it's worth recognising that some of those teams have been working with us for nearly 12 months. Some of them have come on in the last 2 or 3 months, and then our volunteers started yesterday, welcoming the first team, some of the officials from Team England at Piarco Airport. And we've got a huge team of volunteers that will get involved over the next few days. And I really thank them for their involvement.
Yeah. Now, there were over 1,800 of those volunteers,
right.
you know, so were you expecting that type of response to the call for volunteers?
I mean, I think it's been a huge take up, really impressive. And again, from relatively 2 small islands, we've got volunteers both in Trinidad, but also those in Tobago. So really impressed to see 800 people really sort of putting their hand up and saying, we want to be a part of this. And we're looking forward to them being involved, not only across our sports venues, but helping us run those village hotels. And then also, as I said, the team that welcome them at the airports, that's the first thing that the teams will see. And we want to give them that really sort of hearty, warm welcome, show them a little bit of the culture as they arrive, and make sure that their first impressions of the island are absolutely incredible. And then that will live with them for the games. But it is the volunteers that will really make it for them.
Definitely giving that Trinbago flavor, right?
Exactly that.
Of course.
Now, Ms. Henderson, what are some of the opportunities that you anticipate will be derived from hosting the Commonwealth Youth Games this year?
Oh, there are many. I mean, one of the first objectives of the government as well as us was, to make sure that sport on its own, the commercial or the use of our facilities, that whole sport industry, that, we can showcase to the world that we can do these games. We can, implement and execute. And this is the first multi-sport games, another first, multi-sport games in the island. So while we've had several events in the past, this is the first one that is more than one sport. We've had cricket, we've had football, but this is the first time we have different sports. And as Annie indicated about the whole that whole Twin Island interaction, a lot of the leaders in any of the areas are duplicated in Tobago. So that whole simulcast, we're going to have our opening ceremony. You asked me a while ago about the opening ceremony. What can we expect? Look at it this way. Do we move all of our athletes and officials from Tobago, or do we have a duplication of that opening ceremony so that all of them feel the same way, appreciated for that opening ceremony? So we can expect visuals both in Trinidad and Tobago of the different teams. Totally something that's never been done before.
Ms. Henderson, you mentioned 70 countries will be participating in this year's Commonwealth Youth Games. And how many athletes are we expecting this year?
We have like 1,000 or just around 1,000 athletes, 500 officials, because in every sport you have to have team managers and coaches and technical people. And then we have international technical people. And I don't think people realize the magnitude of what this brings to the country. And that's why we want them to get out there, go see the sports, go see what we're capable of, get involved.
Yeah. Now, as spectators to these games, persons may be asking, what is the cost? Persons who may be now getting into the whole vibe because we have a whole countdown going on now.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. So what are the costs to entering these games for spectators?
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that all the public could come out, be at the games. So hence the reason it was always about free for the kids, bring the kids during the holidays. This is something that they could engage in. And, so any of the days at a session is $30 for an adult. Anybody under 18, it's free. So, and for the opening ceremony, it's only 50 TT. So you can go and bring your whole community out to the opening ceremony. There's lots of space in the A.Z. Crawford Stadium. So we want you all to bring your crew, come out and watch what, we have been known for the Peter Minshall and the McFarlane opening ceremonies of the past. And we want to show the world, you have it right here in your front yard. Please come out and come and see what we are going to show the world right here from Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Ms. Henderson, the games were postponed in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I know that our athletes would have been very disappointed. Could you tell us what the feel is now for Team TTU coming into the games starting on Friday?
Yeah, COVID did impact not only us, not only our athletes, not only our females. We still are feeling the effects, and I think that we're going to feel the effects, not only us in Trinidad and Tobago, but even the teams arriving have felt the effects, But the team, I think that coming out just recently, they participated in the recent CAC games. Well, not the same age, but just athletes. And, it's so good to see that they have the competition that they can go to, because it means so much for them having that competition in order to see where they're at. How do we place ourselves against the competition? And some of the athletes who had the opportunity to go out to different competitions in their sport to be able to get that feel. How are we doing? It's a test. Every opportunity is a test for them to see how they are. But I think, barring all of it, they are positive, they're gearing up, they want to come out and do their best. They want the support, they need the support in order to, cheer them on, no matter what. This is the first, let's say, the level of competition. Commonwealth Games is a big games, so Commonwealth Youth Games, it's our youth 14 to 18 years old. So we want to make sure that, they get all the support that they need to go out there and meet the big guns, because there are countries that are big guns, the Caribbean is still, so we really want them to get that support, to do their best, and that's really just cheer them on.
Yeah. Now, Ms. Hairsine, as Ms. Henderson said, these games really cater to young persons ages 14 to 18. How have you seen these young people coming from games like the Commonwealth Youth Games and progressing? What kind of transition have you seen for those and that started in this age group?
So I think it's a huge opportunity for the kids. It really is. And we've seen over the past, this is the 7th edition of the Youth Games. And what we've seen in the past is athletes competing. We then see them at the senior games, the Commonwealth Games, and go on to great things, become Olympic champions. Jessica Ennis-Hill would be one example. She competed in the Youth Games first, and then obviously has gone on to great things and beyond. So there really is a huge opportunity for all of those athletes. And for some of them, this will be their first opportunity to compete in international sport, let alone in a multi-sport event. So it really is a huge opportunity for them. And we really sort of look forward to what comes after the Games. And the teams from all of the 70 nations will be looking at how they support those athletes going forward. And as part of this Games, we're trying to set them up for that future career. So they'll not only are they involved in the sport, but there's a huge education program that they will go through, is available to them while they're here. And that'll include not only sort of an introduction to the sporting environment, but it'll introduce them to the requirements for anti-doping, for safeguarding and everything around that involved with sport. And then we'll also involve them in a cultural program and increase their awareness of the environment that they're training in, that they're competing in, and the opportunities going forward. So it really is, it's just the beginning of that pathway for them. And we look forward to encouraging them into future competitions.
If I may just add on to Annie, we talk about the youth. And you asked me early on, what are some of the things that the country will come out of this? And one of the pillars that we, in our objectives for these games, was to engage the youth, inspire them and empower them to see sport as an opportunity. That is an option, a real option, as a career. Through this whole process, we've seen how many youth, most of the interns that are working around us are all young people in the 20s, So we're so grateful for their open minds and everything, that they have brought to the table, mm-hmm. and helping us execute this big challenge. Mm-hmm. And we've had the Youth Voice Conference in April, leading up to this, engaging the schools. We've had the caravans that go out there and teach them about the Commonwealth as well as sport and how sport is important, So, and we hope that all the schools and a lot of students will be coming to the opening ceremony and the games, we make sure that we have that connection with Ministry of Education. So that is one of our legacies, as Annie said, safeguarding and anti-doping.
Yeah.
One of the things with the anti-doping, that we want to make sure that there's education. This whole factor about the education, because of the age group, that's the big factor here. We want to make sure and let them come away with something that is a learning for them. And that in itself is the legacy, So that just wanted to add that to the whole youth aspect of.
Of course. And following up on that, as we're on that topic, what are we doing as a country for our young people in sport? I mean, we have the education programs before the actual games, but how are we helping them after?
So I know that in collaboration with the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, we have done education programs since 2021, where the whole idea was to have community programs. So they have sport admin and sport for coaches, that we can spread that. And right now I'm seeing the fruition, because some of that gentleman who was one of the gentlemen who was part of that, and there's a WhatsApp group, they are now pushing that whole young group to come to the games, to be involved, to volunteer. Mm-hmm. So, you may not see it right today, but they are inspired. So the fact that they're inspired, we know that there's something going on. And in addition to that, I know that the Ministry of Sport is working hard in terms of making sure that the sport can get back into schools, and working in tandem with the Ministry of Education to ensure sport, we can get sport back into schools from primary going up, because this is important for our youth, and the direction they take in life.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask about the school sport program, and if you all are working in collaboration with the ministry, which is good that we heard that you are. Are there any other plans going forward in collaboration with the ministry to help foster these young athletes?
I think we have spoken about possibly putting on another education program for the communities, which is directly focused on the areas that need the assistance, So a lot of conversation has been in that already, and we intend to continue that. But I know, as I mentioned, that the ministry also has its own objectives, and they are on it already. So we'll see more from that.
Okay. Ms. Hairsine, what are some of your expectations coming out from the Commonwealth Youth Games here in Trinidad and Tobago?
I mean, I think that the legacy from this Games is absolutely huge. And as Diane says, we've been working since 2018, since the original bid. And I think seeing that transformation in terms of the discussions we're having, the plans that have been put in place, but also now the impact on the wider community. But I think everybody will benefit from this Games, and everybody will take something away from it. And I'm particularly keen on sort of the impact that we'll have on those volunteers in particular, and just seeing that excitement that is building within them. But the experience that they will go through in the next 10, 15 days will stay with them for a lifetime, and they will take life skills from it. And whether that be, we talk about the sport, but whether that be around being a part of a team, or engaging with different countries, different nations, or just simply sort of learning about other aspects and expanding people's visibility of what they can get involved in. And we want to sort of push people and encourage them to step out from their comfort zone and really enjoy that experience, because they have the support from the Games and from the teams around them. So they on the 11th of August, they'll look back and go, what an incredible time they've had. And I know some of them are already saying, oh, they want to volunteer for the next Games. They've already got ideas about what they want to do after this. So we really look at inspiring them over the next 2 weeks, so that stays with them for a lifetime, and they'll be talking about it forever.
Yeah, that's great, Annie. That's a good thing.
What are some of the age groups you find were interested in volunteering for the Games? Did you have a good mix of the youth and some of the older folks, or primarily youth? What did you see?
So it's a really good mix, and I was delighted to be able to meet some of the volunteers at one of our engagement sessions nearly a month ago over at the Racket Centre, and just seeing the diversity of the audience there. We had youngsters, We had people that had never been involved in sport before. And then we got lots of keen sports enthusiasts as well that really want to get involved in a multi-sport environment. But they were coming from everywhere across both islands. We had a similar event in Tobago. And it's just great to see that sign up and that involvement. And just watching people walk through the door on that first morning, that was their first exposure to the games. And then seeing them leave just 2 or 3 hours later, completely animated, excited, and just sort of igniting that flame within them is absolutely incredible. And they realised the potential of that family that they're just about to join and that they're just about to enjoy in the next 2 weeks. And as I say, it will have that impact on every single one of them, so that they can take something forward from this.
Nice. I feel energized, and
we hope so.
For sure. Ms. Henderson, what were some of the challenges that your organization faced in getting these games off the ground?
There are always some challenges. Money is always a challenge, but we are so grateful for the government of Trinidad and Tobago, especially through the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, for this very important partnership. Without them, we could not have had the games, definitely, as well as through the agency Sport TT for being there and supporting, where need be, where the venues are. So, a lot of the logistics, as mentioned before, the 2 islands and the logistics of some of the things were the challenges. But we have a good team, and we understood the objective. And I think knowing that, and that there's no way that this is going to be, we don't even say the word, so there was no other option. This must happen, and God spare a few days again, we will be there, and we look forward to everyone being there with us. You know what I mean? So no matter what the challenge, you're always positive about it.
Oh, definitely. Ms. Hairsine, do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, for me, it's really exciting. We're now within days, and as we talked about earlier, some of the teams have already arrived. Some of the elements have already arrived. So for those volunteers, for everybody that is involved, this is becoming very real. And I know that everybody will see more, hear about this over the next 2 weeks. But I just encourage everybody to get involved, to come and be a part of it, to come and see a part of it, whether that be the opening ceremony at Hazley Crawford, or whether they can come along to come and see the cycling over at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, or even if they can come into one of the sessions and just get to witness what is happening for the team, but to be a part of it and see what's going on in the venues here and how they come to life. Because this will change the way that the venues and the way that we talk about sport in Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice. Ms. Henderson, before your final thoughts, could you just give our viewers the website, anywhere that we could get any additional information?
Before I do that, if I could just mention one more aspect, which is also a first, and it will be terrible of me if I did not mention it. So one of the inclusions we did this year was para. The importance of understanding the inclusion of this group of people that so much in the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago we have to recognize, respect, and bring into our community, our social environment. They are excluded, and we need to do a lot more for them. And this age group, we did not have para-athletes at this age group, but we are very proud to say we have a representative in the para-athletics, and we're so proud to be able to say that, because it's a start, and it's the first time, and we really are appreciative of all the countries that were able to send para-athletes at this very special age group, because it's a whole road, another looking in the future for those athletes, a whole opening for them, and a world of sport ahead of them. So I just wanted to mention that. So sure. And please, Trinbago2023.com is the website, the schedule, the ticketing, everything is there. You can get your results there also when after the first. And And ticketing is very reasonable. We will have ticket sales, cash sales at the venues just when 2 days or a day before the opening. And but you can go online now and pull down your tickets on a QR code on your phone as well.
Yeah.
So come on board. Don't miss out. Bring the crew.
Miss Henderson, what are your final thoughts?
So we also have the mascot, which is the second time for youth games. But Jabril Anizet, young boy, did the mascot, created the mascot, and we brought him to life. So just look out for Kokie, the mascot, yes. And we also developed a theme song for the games. It was produced by Freetown Collective, and you can hear it.
All right, so
You
we're
can
looking
listen out to it.
forward.
It's called Stay Ready.
Stay ready.
Stay ready.
All right, so we're going on to trinbago2023.com for more information. We're buying tickets, we're supporting our athletes, we're looking at the results, we're following these games all the way to August 11th.
Yes.
And we're looking out for Cookie. And we're learning this up.
Of course.
All right, so let me just thank Miss Henderson for joining us this evening and Miss Hairsine for also joining us this evening. Thank you, ladies, for coming on to Delving Deeper.
Thank you, Ayana.
Join us again next week at this same time for another episode of Delving Deeper. And before I leave, happy Emancipation Day to Trinidad and Tobago. I am your host, Diana Carter, and from all of us here, have a good night.
Now is the time I will show the world how I fight, how I win, and why I deserve to have my name among the greatest of the greats. These are the days champions are made.